Hello, everybody, and welcome to Silent Podcast, the place where everything but silent. As usual, I'm your host Isaiah, here to talk about Big Brother 20 for the Big Brother review series. This has been very fun. This is our fourth episode, so we're getting through. This is our last episode of the 20s, and we have a very fun panel to talk about everything. So, of course, like usual, I've had two streams with this person. We've ranked every single Big Brother series player in history. I'm here with Lovina. Lovina, what's going on?
Hi. Why are we so insane for doing that? Like, why did we do that? Oh
We
my
have no
God.
life.
Uh, I mean, yeah, there it is. You said it. I didn't have to. Yeah, honestly, I'm excited to talk about this season. I think it was a pretty good one of our, the modern era of Big Brother. So I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And then we also have silent podcaster Javier. I've been seeing you on House and Dragons a lot lately. Javier, what's been going on, my guy?
Hey, what's up? What's up? No, I'm excited to be here. Excited to talk Big Brother, as that's probably the show that I most watch and tweet about and everything. So I'm very excited to talk Big Brother. I enjoy talking House of the Dragon, but definitely super excited to get into this season. And like Lovina said, I agree. This is a season that a lot of people say is one of the best modern seasons of Big Brother. So definitely excited to get into it.
All right. And then for first time, we got Tyrone Ty from the OTH podcast. Ty, what's been going on?
Oh, I'm feeling good. I hate this. I hate these dang shows, but I love them at the same time. I'm so
Totally
ready to talk
agree.
about it. It's so wild. Oh my gosh! But I'm happy to be here. I appreciate you inviting me.
Of course. Now, like I said, this is season 20 review. If you haven't been here before, we're gonna break down everything about the show. Yes, you guys can say whatever you want. It's on the message. um, this is unfiltered AF. But yeah, this is basically a review for season 20. We've had a lot of Big Brother since. I think this is definitely seen as one of the better new school seasons, but it could have been way better if I'm gonna be honest. But we'll get into all that. But I guess we can start off with saying, what's the legacy right now for Big Brother 20? It's been a couple years that we're removed. We've seen some players come back from this season. I feel like we have feelings. We've seen people in the challenge too. How do we feel about Big Brother 20, guys? I
I
will
would
call
say
people.
I would
Go
say
ahead.
I would say overall good. Like I would say if I were to give it a grade, it would be like a B to a B plus. It probably was an A few years ago, but I think it was because I was comparing it to 21 and 22 and probably the celebrity ones because like the celebrity ones haven't been great aside from 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But I think now it's gone down just because the players that have the legacy of the season, like Tyler, um, in like the bigger picture, I don't feel like he not I still think he's one of the best to never win, and I still stand Isaiah by where we placed him in our
Mm-hmm.
rankings. But I do think that when I look at it, like I said, the bigger picture, I don't think that he's not like a home run. You know what I'm saying? We'll get into it, but what do you guys think?
I feel like I definitely think Big Brother 20 has in the terms of it's still like a solid season, and I agree with Lovina with the rating of like a B. I think that's where the season belongs. But I feel like just with all the seasons, we get so much Big Brother because to me, I also count Big Brother Canada, and we've had a lot of good seasons of Big Brother Canada since BB20, and then since like BB23 was really good. So yeah, I definitely think in terms of the rankings of best seasons, I do think BB20 has fallen in grace. And also, as I was prepping for like the podcast, I was remembering the second half of BB20, and it was just not great. Like the first half, they came out swinging. It was amazing. And that's what I feel like the image that I had, the memory of it. And then when I look back on it, I'm like, wait, the latter half was kind of lame, and I wasn't happy with the winner. So BB20 still, it's an okay season, not gonna lie. But yeah, looking back on it is not as great as it was during the time.
Javier, you speaking my language, man. First half was amazing. When you can come to a season, you can say, "Oh, after the Fessy HOH, that's when it got real whack." And then you called it lame. The winner was lame, still is lame, and so it's kind of like I liked it if I got to maybe episode 25, and I'm good after that. That's how my feel about BB20.
Yeah, it's interesting how drastic like has changed that we have with the season. Where the first half, I'm like, are we really about to get like an all time good season? Like I haven't gotten that in a while. Like the cast was electric, and then it feels like it just hit this point where the level 6 alliance, which we'll break down I'm sure very later, just was like in such a dominant position to the point where I'm just like, oh, I'm very bored. Like you kind of know the direction is going to go after a while. So I definitely do think that affects the watchability going back a little bit. But I mean, we'll get into all that.
I
Go ahead.
do think it makes it worse because in the first half of the season there were so many chances for level 6 to not dominate, and
Mhm.
it just failed after failed after fail, and that's what makes it worse is that okay, there was opportunities for this to not be boring, but then nobody ever took advantage. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I think it's because the only listen, I like a house that's split in half. I remember during the time everyone was like, "Oh my god, Big Brother 6." It's like, "Okay, you got me." Like that's one of my favorite seasons, like top 3, maybe even top 2 for me personally. But it at least in 6, it was two sides that were, I mean, in strategically, competitively sort of equal, I guess you could say. But this one was hard for me to watch. Like if you think about it, even though the first half of the season was electric, it was because the cast was good. And that's probably the only reason. Like entertainment value, but they were still getting played. Like, who flipped and all that, the fun stuff. They were getting played every single week, and that's what made it entertaining. Caitlyn made it entertaining, sure, but they were still getting played. There was no like variety at all. Whereas in Big Brother 6, they were like exchanging HOHs back and forth. Um, and there really wasn't like a big bad on one side for like Faute, and they didn't really like Faute didn't really see like the big bad on the level 6 side because I feel like they weren't really clocking Tyler. Yeah, I don't know. We'll get into it, but yeah, I don't know.
The only thing I want to add before we move on any further, and I mean, I guess we don't have to get into level 6 versus Falte yet. I don't know if we want to get into that yet, but I think for me, the other issue is that like, no shade, but level 6 just the dominating alliance was not interesting. They didn't have the interesting characters because I feel like if I like the dominating alliance, like I like the cookout and BB23, I didn't care that it was boring, but I was like, come on, let's go cookout, and because they had dynamic characters in it. Within level 6, I just feel like they did not have dynamic characters. One of them went by Blandula. Come on now. Like, it's just, I think that was the issue for me with having the dominant alliance. If it were Falte, because I felt like they had more character to them, that would have been more entertaining to me as well. So I think that was
I feel
another
like
issue with me.
the only person I would, if I could say, like, yeah, sure, Tyler, let's throw him in there. But I would say Brett out of all of them. I was like, okay, Brett's at least entertaining. I expected to see him for All Stars. I don't know if he was called. I expected to see both him and Haley, actually. I think they should have had more people from Big Brother 20 and All Stars. And they picked correctly with Bailey. And like I remember saying like on podcast, I was like, I don't want to watch a All Stars without Tyler. And like I still agree with that. But what he gave during All Stars made me I would have rather seen Brett or Haley, especially Brett.
Yeah, looking at that, I mean, did we need the Big Brother 19 representation for that season if it's not Paul or Josh? No. So it's like, big missed opportunity. I mean, I feel like the ship might have been sailed for these players, but like the Bretts, Haley's, I mean, I'm not even too off on Angela. I mean, we can get into her in a little bit, the specific reason why. But I just feel like the thing with this cast is that they were all willing to kind of just like give good TV while they were playing the game. Because I mean, we've seen a couple seasons where there's like split houses. We've seen BBOTT, Big Brother 6. Technically, I mean, if you want to say Big Brother 24 just happened, we've seen them. But this season, specifically with level 6, I felt we're like, all right, if we're gonna do this, let's make it entertaining. So I did appreciate that from this cast. That being said, individually, it was kind of hard to root for level 6. And we can, I guess, start talking about level 6 in Falte while we're here. How did we feel ultimately? We can start with Falte. About Falte, I mean, speaking of the members, officially Falte consisted of Swaggy, Caitlin Herman, Rockstar, Fessy, Scotty, and Haley. I don't think I'm missing anyone. Oh, and Bailey. I don't think I'm missing anyone. But how do we feel about the Falte Alliance first? Because let's be honest, is this the worst Big Brother Alliance ever created, or is it just amongst that?
I think the worst is what were they called? The regulators.
The regulators.
In season 13. They're definitely statistically the worst, I think. But they're among for sure, unfortunately.
The dumbest, maybe.
Yes. Yeah.
The most easily manipulated, sure. Because I guess you could put Caitlyn in there, but was she the way she was playing the game? Like it was just wild. Like every single time a vote went awry, they would blame each other. And then when they got a power, they would tell people that they never talk game with. Like, why would you tell Rachel about your power app, Bailey? I'm sorry. Why? Why would you do that? You never talk game with her. So it was just, I think the most easily manipulated, I think, is what I would align with them or define them.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. And just kind of to add to that, it was just, to me, it's baffling to watch people every week say, wait, we just got played, and then still get played. Like, are you like this in your real life? That was when I'm watching the season. That's what I was thinking. Like, you allow yourself to get played over and over. And no, that was just what to me made me like, and I was still rooting for them, even though they were making these awful plays. But man, looking back, I'm like, please, I hope y'all don't take this to your personal lives, because this is not good. This is not good at all.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at them. So, I mean, obviously Steve was not part of this, but I mean, he easily could have been grouped up with these people because that's who he was hanging out with. Steve is out, and then you get Swaggy, and then, I mean, you get a couple weeks where there's a back and forth with Winston, then Caitlyn, then Rachel. But then after that is straight Falte members. Bailey, Rockstar, Fessy, Scotty, and Haley are all out back to back. Like, it's insane, really. And I'm just like, how did this happen? You know, it's like, go ahead.
And two of those HOHs was a Falte HOH.
Yeah.
When the Falte member went out.
Yeah. Like it was just like, how did you guys allow this to happen?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the best possible way to describe the season, like poetically, is that OTEF competition where Rockstar gives Tyler the answer. Like, yeah, like exactly what you said. Like, don't take this into your real lives. Like, that's concerning to me. That's like getting the right answer at a test, or like, you know, a standardized test, or where everyone's taking the same whatever, and like nudging the person next to him being like, hey, this is the answer, and then you both get in trouble. And it's like, why would you I just don't understand this at all.
Yeah. It's so interesting, Big Brother, and I think this applies to Big Brother more than anything. You know, you can watch reality TV for three reasons. You can watch it for entertainment. You can watch it to say, hey, this is how I would play, or how I respond to things, or who I would align with. And then there's, of course, this umbrella of social dynamics and things like that, that you bring from the real world into the game. And Big Brother 20, I kept teetering and tottering between all three of these, because the social dynamic might be the reason why I would want to go with Falte, right? Is majority minority group in that alliance team and things like that. And then from an entertainment level, oh my gosh, I loved them. They were foolish. Like, something's very wrong with them. But then from a gameplay standpoint, I'm like, I can't rock with them. I gotta go with level 6. They actually had great gameplay. They were very manipulative. Whether you appreciate that type of thing or not, they did it very well. And so it was just a hard group to cheer for consistently, because you would look at them and get so frustrated. I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan, so I know how it feels to align with a group that frustrates you every time they play. So that's how I see Falte. They 28-3 the whole time. 28-3 the whole time.
You know, so one thing I want to say about Falte, I don't think that kind of goes spoken a lot, is that, see, level 6 had their leader Tyler there to kind of like lead them through the whole war and the battle and everything, right? Swaggy was eliminated second, and I think really Swaggy leaving second is a really big detriment to this group, because they kind of like are just like a chicken running without its head, right? It's like you you know the strategy where they say get rid of the head of the snake and then the body will not know what to do. That's exactly what happened here. Now obviously it was Caitlyn who I would say is kind of responsible for taking out Swaggy. How did this happen? Because it's like obviously I think Caitlyn had a little crush on Tyler. I think she felt way closer with these people than she actually were. Was this a mistake from Caitlyn? And then like is this also like Valte's fault for like really bringing Caitlyn into the fold like that? How do we feel about that?
I feel like I think it was early enough in the game. If Caitlyn was doing it for a game reason, I could see why. And she could maybe, get herself to be in this alliance, kind of like adjacent, similarly to Sam and JC. She could have gone further. But I don't think, I mean, no, I know that's not why she was doing it. She was just, I'm lonely. I want to like snuggle with Tyler or like whatever she was doing on the feeds. So that's not why, but I don't know. I am one to say that the first half of this season is what it was because of her. So I'm not going to complain about anything because I do believe that she was the star of the first half of the season, down to the puzzle that was like 3 pieces. But yeah, she wasn't doing anything for strategy reasons. Nothing. Everything was emotional. And listen, I that's me. So like that's how I know for a fact she's strictly an emotional player. That's how a lot of Faute was, though.
Oh yeah. When she saw Haley in the bed with Fessel, that was the moment that turned the tide. And then Tyler put in a little manipulation there, saying that Swaggy C says she was like bottom of the totem pole type of thing or whatever, manipulating her into doing what he wanted. But I think it was when she saw Haley in the bed with Fessel is when she was like, okay, I need to make him see me. So I'm gonna get rid of his best friend to make him see me.
Yeah, Caitlyn Herman. Like, obviously, she also lost. Fun fact to the puzzle, which my God, how did that happen as well? That was hard to watch. But Caitlyn Herman. I don't know if they're going to bring her back. There's a section where I want to talk about later where who do we want to see back and everything. But I don't know if they will bring Caitlyn back. I think it's kind of past her time, but she was a character. There you go with that. And lastly, I just also wanted to talk about a couple more of these Foul Team members before we move to level 6. Bailey, she called herself Queen Bay, Queen B. Eventually changed her alliance name from Falte to the Hive. I don't think that really stuck. But how do we feel about Bailey's game? Obviously, she was brought back. I think she had such potential as a player. Even without Swaggy, like I thought that she was doing really well. Obviously, I think a lot of the level 6 alliance did like Bailey as well. But the issue was that Tyler was just on her. There is that was such an issue. Obviously, we found out that, the whole miscarriage situation happened. And so obviously she was going through a lot of other things that not a lot of us were privy to at the time. But how did we feel overall about Bailey's game within the season?
Personally, Bailey was probably one of my favorite players in the season for the first like 5 weeks or so, up until she became HOH, and then like she told Rachel about the app, and it was so confusing to me because I think Bailey could have gone so far in this game because she had great relations with Tyler and with a lot of other people in the house, and I feel like that's when his switch flipped. And unfortunately, like you said, Tyler was the ringleader of level 6. So if you flip on Tyler's going to try to get you out. And that's what we saw throughout the season. And unfortunately, when Tyler saw that, oh, maybe I can't trust Bailey that much. And then I feel like that's eventually ended up being Bailey's downfall. But no, I thought Bailey brought a lot of entertainment to the show. Her fight with Tyler was like insane with the bloody tongue. Like that was an insane, 10 minutes of television right there. And, I was really happy to see Bailey back in Big Brother 22. And I feel like she fell into the same unfortunate situation. Also in Big Brother 2012, it's like, oh, Bailey was in a great place again. And then things just happened. And Bailey, unfortunately, didn't win that season either. So, but no, I was a big fan of Bailey. I was happy to see her back. And honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Bailey back again for another season. I really liked On the Challenge too. I know she wouldn't come back because I feel like she's done with reality TV, she said.
Yeah.
But I think Bailey's a great character. And I think she's really smart. So, big Bailey fan.
Absolutely. I was gonna say, you brought that up that her coming back because I think that a lot of people viewed her in a negative light that she wasn't a good player during her first season because of her. I would say personally, it's because of her alliance. She was not stupid. Her alliance was
No.
stupid. She was not stupid at all. And I did see that while it was live. But I do think that she proved herself to be a very capable player to put herself into a good position. I saw it in the first season, but a lot of people didn't. They were able to see it in the second season. And obviously, it just came crashing down because of, other things, external things, and, Christmas and whatever. But I do think that she has proved herself to be capable, and I would love to see her again, like in a, we can simulate like a second chances type of season, but I don't think she's coming back. Like her at her personal want to.
Yeah, I agree with y'all. I think she actually had a very underrated social game. The last 2 times we saw her was in BB20, was at a negative light, right? Her HOH, where it looked like she was bossing people around. And then, of course, the fight with Tyler. And so that kind of sticks in a lot of people's mind. But if you look back, right, she's the only woman outside of Casey that Angela didn't talk shit about in the goodbye message. Angela actually really liked Bailey. And so I think that just calls or brings to the forefront the fact that she had the ability to be social. I think in some ways the attachment to Swaggy, along with the fight against Tyler, is really just what put her under. And then, of course, the fact that they thought she was the hacker those were the 3 things that kind of, drowned her game, unfortunately. But she definitely had a social game that people didn't see.
And I definitely want to get into these twists a little bit later. But go ahead, Livia.
I was just gonna say, like, I'd like to point out that the twists of this season were awful.
Might as well get
All
into
of
it
them.
now. Yeah, yeah. It's like just to pull out the twist list real quick. Shout out to the Big Brother Wiki that's been easily walking me through these things. So first of all, we have the BB App Store coming fresh off of the Den of Temptation, where I don't know what the hell they were thinking here. Like it's like Big Brother was like, you know what? We give up on trying to have like an element of surprise. Let's just give them a store to like get all these things. And I did not like that. It was based off of a fan vote, which, that was fine. It was interesting to see how the fans voted. I'm not the biggest on America vote situations, especially if it's something involving powers, but to each their own. We also have the hacker competition where I can't wait to get into that because I feel like that completely ruined the season. I have no shade. And then we got the jury battle back where honestly, I feel like this is the last season they've done a battle back. But I feel like this and season 19 were like the epiphanies of like, do we really need to keep doing this battle back so the person comes in, it gets thrown right out the week after? Like we don't need these anymore. Lovina, I agree with you. Like these twists completely sucked. Like I don't know who was in charge of making the twist at the time, but like I'm glad that we are hopefully not doing anything like this anymore because I think the Den of Temptation and the BB App Stores were like perfect examples of just pure laziness coming from Big Brother. I think some of these twist ideas were interesting, but they were not needed to all be in the same season. They did not need to affect the game as much as they did. I'm not going to forget the Amazon thing where Fessy literally cannot eat meat. And you guys have him like you can't eat the pork, and then they had to get vegan pork or so. It was crazy. It was crazy. I don't know. What's up, Ty?
I'm just okay. If you got the app that is a bad one, right?
Yeah.
And you see Amazon, and while he's deciding what to choose, it says Amazon looks like something you have to eat. I wonder what do I have to eat?
Yeah.
Guy, it's ham. You have to eat ham. Don't pick it. I'm glad they gave him the vegan ham. I mean, but you said, I wonder what we have to eat. It's a big ass ham on there. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Maybe true Falte brand, I guess. Easily manipulated. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I would say I'm with you, Isaiah. I don't like the fan vote ones, especially for an edited show, because if you can't even the edit to give everybody a fair opportunity, then you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is you have these random apps, right? if somebody choose like the cloud one that Tyler chose is way better than the one that that Bailey chose, and
Yeah.
so that also adds to the unevenness to it. So I was not a fan of the BB app. I mean, it only went 3 weeks, but still, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I mean, also like when I look back on the apps, none of them were even used. Like they influenced the game, of course, like it influenced Bailey's game, etc. But they were not used at all. So their impact within the game was so minor in terms of their actual use. Even though I agree, some of them did have more power than the others. So it's kind of felt like I feel like BB does this a lot. They have these twists where they don't end up impacting the game that much, and they're just kind of there for like fluff. Because I feel for some reason production always needs fluff in these shows.
Yes.
So that's how I really felt about those twists. But I will say I do remember in week 3 when Bailey got it. It was nice to see that because I think the way that it worked was that you basically just whoever got the most answers, didn't matter what the question was. And I just remember on Twitter, everyone was like, put Bailey for everything. Like the questions were so random. And I remember how hype I was because I was such a big Bailey fan. And it was nice to see everyone come behind Bailey's back in week 3 for that. So that's what I liked about it. But overall, I do agree. Like, I'm not a big fan of these like game-changing twists, especially when America votes.
I think that everything when it comes to a twist with this show, it just comes down to the producing and the editing of this show. They want to create like a shock factor no matter what. Either that or they'll come up with something goofy, like the Amazon thing, like, oh, let's have this guy or whoever, guy or girl who would have gotten that punishment. Let's get a wacky little moment. Like I feel like this show, I don't know how many times, how many podcasts I've said this on, they need to just strip it back to basics. The last season that was free of basically besides the America's Players sort of, excuse me, twist was Big Brother 10, and we all saw how that season went. If you are if you're not confident in your cast to put on a good show, then maybe you should cast better. I don't know. If you don't want them to, have to read lines in the DR in their confessionals, like if you don't want to have to not keep the not the sanctity, but like the foundation of what the show is, in order to create fluff, like you said, then maybe your cast isn't great.
3 snaps for Lovina. 3 snaps for Lovina now. Ooh.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
That's
They pissed me off.
Good stuff there. I'm telling you.
I work in TV, so like I can see like the editing stuff they do that I'm just like, I wouldn't do that.
and the thing is, right, sometimes what happens is they'll hit on something, because I don't know about y'all, but the guy that came in and played the old lady or kept yelling at them.
Oh
that was
right.
I thought it was hilarious. I was sitting here watching, like, this is not a punishment for just one of them. This fool is waking people up in the middle of the night, yelling at the top of his lungs. This is hilarious to watch. I wouldn't want to be there, but that's hilarious to watch. So I thought, in moments they hit, but for the most part, yeah, it's kind of whack.
Okay. So just to cap off some of the foul taste stuff, obviously next is Rockstar. Rockstar, not the best player. Shout out Rockstar, she's a sweetheart. Not the best player. I definitely did want to play this real quick because I can not go through a podcast without playing this.
I cannot on my daughter's birthday believe that you would sit there and do some crap like that.
The hugging.
You are a bold-faced, disgusting, disgusting.
Sorry, I don't know what to tell you.
I haven't talked to you in 3 days. You didn't campaign to me. I cannot.
Then don't.
Disgusting. Disgusting. I can't believe on my daughter's birthday that you would drag my name through the mud like this. You are disgusting. Do you understand? That's fine, because the public saw who I voted out, and it was you. And we'll get you out again. So that's cute. That's real cute. That's cute.
That's all I wanted to play.
Oh my gosh.
Rockstar, not the best player, but she gave us moments. So, what else can you ask for? And then, I mean, I don't know if we really need to spend too much time on most of these other people who are Falte. I mean, Scotty, he was there. You know, he came back twice. You know, it is what it is. Fessy has become a challenge. I don't know if you want to call him icon. I know Javier talks about the challenge. He's on the challenge a lot. So, you know, I don't know if he's gotten a better rap over there or anything,
Plus,
but
he's infamous on the challenge.
okay. It's for
Not
good
a
or
good
bad
rap.
reasons.
Bad. No one really
Got
likes
it.
Wesley. He has a very poor following there.
Ooh. I mean, when I first saw him on the cast list, we only had the photos, so I just assumed I was like, oh my god, is that a Middle Eastern house guest for once? And then I was like, okay, the closest thing basically that I can get, you know. And he let me down for a while. That was like the only close to representation that I could have, and I was like, it's Fessy. It's Fessy. So thank you, Joseph Abden. Thank you.
That's funny. You saw, looking back, you see elements of him on the challenge in here because he was hugged up on Haley, he was hugged up on Caitlyn, he was hugged up on Sam at times, right? In this game.
Wow, yeah.
And so on the challenge, especially this season, they showed him with like 3 or 4 different girls in one episode. So you saw elements of what he could be in future reality TV shows. So it was nice to kind of see that looking back, but I agree. Disappointing.
I just kind of want to add to it's just really funny because I vaguely remember Fessy felt some type of way. I think something happened in BB20 where like Haley was talking about her past experiences with men, and I think Fessy felt some type of way about it. But then Fessy goes on the challenge, and every season he hooks up with 2-3 different girls.
Yeah.
But so
Slanging it.
hypocrite. Another reason people don't like him on the challenge, I don't know. But Fessy's just. I think he was more likable on BB20 than he was on after the BB20. He just went downhill for me. So.
Oh, you know what else I found funny, Javier? He so Fessel got into a kind of like another infamous moment on the challenge when Casey got injured in the finals and he didn't eat. He won an eating contest in Big Brother 20. So it's just a lot of things when you look back. It's just good to see. It's kind of funny to see.
All right. And then last member, we kind of spoke about her a little bit. Are we going to see Haley back? Do you think they're going to invite Haley back? I know Lovina was a big Haley fan. I liked Haley a lot. You know, it's unfortunate the hacker comp went the way it was for her, but I felt like obviously they're two completely separate players, but like I feel like the young players like a Haley, like a Hannah, I feel like they would do so much better on their second chance. I would like to see Haley again. And if not on Big Brother, on any show possible, even if that's a challenge, unfortunately. I want to see Haley on something. But do you think that we're going to see Haley again?
I'm gonna say no, and I think it's because I don't think she would do it. I feel like she could have possibly been asked for Big Brother 22 and said no. I mean, a lot of people said no, and we really don't know who could have been asked. But I do think that if the only possible way, first of all, I don't think Big Brother would want to do an all-star season anytime soon. But it is 25 next season. So maybe they want to do something special, whether it's coaches or, you know, bringing a few players back. But my hope is like a second chances kind of thing. And I could see her, you know, being in one of those slots. But again, I don't know if she would say yes. I feel like a lot of the Big Brother 20 cast wouldn't say yes. Like I want to see Caitlyn. I want to see Caitlyn all the time, but I don't think she would say yes. I just don't feel that. Maybe I feel like the only person that could say yes is like Rachel Swindler.
I don't know if we want that.
I have 2 things I want to say. First about Caitlyn. I mean, we saw Caitlyn play a redacted game that I'm not going to say, and she got ate up by Ica on it from BB Cad. So I think Caitlyn is also done with reality TV because Caitlyn it was bad for her. It was very bad for her when she came back on like this online game. Yeah. So I don't think we'll see Caitlyn. I have
no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
But enough of that drama. On to Haley. I loved Haley. There was 3 players I wanted to see back from BB20, and it was Tyler, Bailey, and Haley. I do think Haley I feel like Fessy brought her down. I feel like sometimes she got like a hint of what was going on in the house, and then she'll go talk to Fessy, and then Fessy will say some shit, and then she'll be like, okay, maybe my intuition's wrong. So I would have loved to see Haley play again, but I don't think Haley would play again just because some more tea. Like after the show, when she kept dating Fessy, there was a lot of drama with her and Fessy, and I think she's very turned off from reality TV after that. So I definitely don't think she'd do the challenge because Fessy has become a challenge regular. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we see Haley back, but I'd love to see her back because I feel like she does have a lot of good intuition, and she was the last standing member of Faute. So I think that's something also to say for her game as well. And I do think that she did have a pretty decent relationship with, like, especially with Tyler at points. So I think Haley, I would love to see her back, but I don't think she would come back.
Yeah, I'm with y'all. I think she got in a little bit of a groove. She had a slow start to the show for sure, and then she got into a groove. If anything, I would like to see her and Bailey on a show together because I think they really had a good strategic and social game that was just really dogged by the rest of Falte, to be honest. Yeah, I would like to see them both on the show together. I think they could do some damage.
Okay. So we can start talking about level 6 because like I said, we just went through all the Falte members. They got destroyed, unfortunately. But we got the 2 outliers. You know, the thing about level 6 that I really did like was the fact that they were always adjustable. You know, like I know Ty said it earlier. Even when they weren't winning competitions and Falte was trying to control the narrative of who's going to leave, they're like, no, I don't want Brett to leave. No, I don't want Angela to leave. Let's cut off the extra fat somewhere else. And you know, they got rid of Winston and Rachel first. I mean, there's not a lot to talk about with Winston. And you know, we could talk about Rachel as well. But how do we feel about those 2? I know they both felt probably extremely blindsided by level 6. I know when I look at level 6, I look at Tyler, Angela, Casey, and Brett as level 6. I don't really look at Winston and Rachel too much in the group. But how did we feel about their games, out of curiosity?
Yeah, I feel like they made the right choice. Like level 6 made the right decision on who to cut off first. Not personal. I think that Winston and Rachel seem lovely outside of the house. I actually enjoyed both of them more outside of the house than I did inside the house. But you know, I think the most thing I can think of with them both is, I don't know, I feel like Winston and Brett had this like forced romance kind of storyline. It's like, we get it, sorry, but like Brett's kind of carrying. And on the other side, Rachel's moment when she's evicted and she's very blindsided and it's very genuine. Like I personally, I like Rachel. Like I would be friends with Rachel personally in my personal life. And I can tell that she was very upset when it happened and I felt for her. And you know, obviously, like you can, like if you rewatch it, she literally is out of breath. Like she can't breathe when when Julie's asking her questions on stage. And you know, what's wrong with Angela? Very iconic. And also, for both of them, obviously they were pre-jurors, so they just came out into the real world. I do remember, I don't know if it was just Rachel or if it was both of them, but I'll just say they were both selling like level 6 merch, and everyone's just kind of like, you guys are barely in the alliance. Like, what did you guys do? You're pre-juror flops. Like, what are you doing? So I kind of do have that memory, but yeah, I don't know. I'd pick Rachel over Winston.
Well, real quick. Instead of thinking about it, I'm gonna give you the visual for it. Here you go. I have
Rachel, just a few bullet points to go over here. First, you talked yourself onto the block. You lied to my face, and your stories make no sense. What? Our final 2 deal is about as irrelevant as you were week 2. I'm sorry, Rachel, but you're going home.
What the frick? What?
Please don't curse. Please don't curse.
What?
Final thoughts? What are you thinking?
What's wrong with Angela? She wasn't really my friend?
No, she didn't believe you. You'll see when you get home.
She didn't believe me for what?
You will see when you get home.
I'm sorry, but like Angela, we'll get to it, but I can't help myself. Like she had these like speeches and goodbye messages. It's like, girl, you thought you ate that. You thought you ate that. Like, no, like I can tell that even just that goodbye message, you practice that in your head like 20 times. That's what it's giving. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you are not the ice queen. You are a rehearsed, regurgitated lines. Like, that's all I can hear personally. That's why I'm just like, I don't want to see her back. I'm good. Like she's like a plant, like a casting plant. I'm like, you're not entertaining. Sorry.
So I'm gonna be the Angela defender here. Listen, I did not care for Angela's personality, and I wasn't actually rooting for her at all. I do remember her being very mean to people though, and like
Ruthless.
I think that's literally just her personality. I remember like I think it was, I want to say either Rachel or Bailey. They were leaving her HOH room, and she looks at the camera like she just like does nasty like little things, and she was very catty to people. I just generally don't think that she works well with women. And like even in the show, I mean, like she was winning all these comps. We'll get to her in a second. So I can see why people aren't fans of her. But if I was in the camp was like, if they bring Angela back for All Stars too, I wouldn't mind. Like I thought she brought something with the cattiness, but like that would be a very like B list type person instead of like first priority. I don't know. Listen, I could have took Angela over a Christmas any day of the week. Okay, that's all I'm
In
gonna
that
say.
case.
Look at the comparison you're making.
Yeah, you're giving me two very poor choices here, Isaiah.
Yeah, come on now. She was better on the challenge, but we'll get to that. So Rachel, I have a hard time with this. One of my best friends since like 8th grade is actually good friends with her. So I can't talk too much trash, but that moment I was dying laughing because she could not. And Lovina, you called it right. It was very, very genuine. And that almost makes it funnier because this whole time she's crying. I don't want Brett to leave. I'm all for level 6. She told the Bailey BB app situation, like she gave it all, and then this whole time behind her back they was just like, we can get rid of her, we're done with her, she's not relevant, irrelevant. I don't know how you say but irrelevant, you know what I mean? So it was just it's tough, but she did provide that entertainment at least for that moment.
Yeah, and just real quick, does anyone have anything else they want to say about Rachel Winston? All right, cool. So obviously, like I said, they were like the fat of the alliance that kind of got trimmed off. But after this, we just see like this crazy comp spree from like the main 4 players of level 6. We'll talk about 2 of them real quick, and then we'll get to the final 3, and then Sam, obviously. But Brett, I feel like Brett was a really good player. I feel like Brett was diehard for his alliance. I think his alliance definitely played him like a fool. And it's like I felt like he was level 6 till death do us part. I think Tyler have him really snowed, but he was very entertaining. Like I was like, there's never going to be a chance in time where like I'm going to root for a player like Brett, and like he shocked me. I thought he was really funny. I thought that he was a troll. Like he's first of all, he will never be close to Zach Rance, but if there's like a tier under Zach Rance, that would be him. He was just a troll. Like the way he trolled Rockstar every 5 seconds, and his strategy was interesting too. Like he was not suspected to be in any of the alliances. He was like looked at as like a solo player, and he kept surviving. Like I think he really downplayed his position, and it was interesting. But how do we feel about Brett as a player?
I'm actually on the other side of Brett. I feel like, and I'm glad you brought up Zach Rance because I was going to also. I feel like Brett was doing it, and that's just not who he really is. I think he was doing it to try to make TV and try to be funny and try to have like some personality, as opposed to Zach Rance. I think Zach Rance was hilarious, and I think he was just like I wouldn't even call Zach a troll because I feel like trolls do it to like get a reaction. I think that's just who Zach was, and I feel like Brett was doing it to get reactions. And I don't think anyone in the house was falling for it, in my opinion. Like when Rockstar was like popping off at Brett had the smirk the whole time. If anyone fell for that, only Falte could fall for Brett, honestly, because Brett was like not a good liar, in my opinion. He was obviously rehearsing all these things he wanted to say. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like Brett was doing it for a camera, and I wasn't entertained by Brett. But I do remember seeing a lot of people entertained by him. But I remember I was like, Brett, come on, you gotta go. So
I just like menaces. I'm toxic. Okay.
No, like I'm like let me I'll be the first person to admit like Zach Rance was my favorite player on 16. I freaking hate that season. But I had a huge crush on him. Sorry. Anyways, besides that, you know, I could see the comparison. I hadn't really thought about it that way, but yeah, I like Javier, I agree. You know, he came off not as, you know, this isn't you, but you know, I could say like I just criticized Angela for, you know, rehearsing lines and like you thought you ate that kind of thing. But the difference between her and Brett is that, first of all, Brett isn't living a Regina George fantasy. That first, that's like a big thing. I couldn't help myself. I couldn't wait till we got to her. The second thing, though, is I think that his delivery was better, at least. Like, I'll take both. You know, if somebody is playing up to the cameras, I'll take it as long as it is entertaining. If it's just stupid, I'm like, okay, I could just go without this, you know, whatever. But one thing about Brett is like his archetype is not an archetype, like Isaiah, you said, I've probably ever rooted for. I've never really been excited to root for that kind of a person. And I think that he, in the beginning of the season, I was just kind of like, okay, cute, like Winston and him, like we get it. But I don't know if you guys remember, we forgot this part about Winston. Winston was like the preseason favorite. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Like he absolutely was. Kind of similar to Matt of Big Brother 19, and everyone's just kind of like, what happened? Not as bad, but yeah. So then it ended up being like, okay, well, he's kind of bland, like he's doing too much. And then that roped Brett in for me. But towards the middle of it, I was like, okay, like I'm entertained by this guy. And I think he's pretty decent strategically and competitively. And like kind of off socially, but like good in a weird way. So yeah, I think that like I said at the beginning, if I were to pick anybody, one person from this season that we haven't already seen, I would pick him personally.
I like that. Scotty loved him. I tell you that much. You know what? Here's how I see Brett. He's like the closest thing to a real life Stifler that I've ever seen in my life. And just like in American Pie, although Stifler wasn't necessarily the top member of the group, he played his role, and I think Brett played his role very well in the level 6 alliance. I think there's a lot of things that Brett did that if he didn't do it, level 6 might not have gone as far as they did. Even though the lies, he told like 3 lies in while sitting on the block, which is ridiculous. But even those lies, whether you believe them or not, it still put some hesitancy in the other group, and that's all they needed was just that little bit of hesitancy. So now the Tylers and the Caseys, even though you didn't see much of Casey, can go in there and be social and friendly and manipulate in a different type of way. And he played his role very well. So that's why I appreciate his game. Would he do the same in a different alliance? Probably not. He'd probably be a little bit closer to out first, a little bit closer to like the Winston out. If it wasn't the Tyler backing and the Casey backing behind him.
Yes. And real quick, I see in the comments, Ronnie Jr., he asked, this is a good panel. I like BB conversations. How often do y'all record? If you're enjoying this series, every Monday and Sunday, we're going through every single season of Big Brother. So check this out every Monday and Sunday. But real quick, before we moved on from Brett, I have so many clips prepared because this is an iconic season. I just wanted to put this very forced speech, as Javier would say, of Brett real quick.
Don't do the Caitlyn one, please.
Brett, now it's your turn to speak. Oh, Scotty. Sweet, sweet Scotty. Your arms are large, like a honey glazed ham. Your
Don't
chest
do it.
curly, like a big, big man. Your eyes captivating like the sea. Ah! I just had a vision. You're supposed to take me off. Now is the time, Scotty. Take me off. Thank you.
I hate you for putting the Caitlyn one up. I knew you was gonna put that one up. So dirty.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry, Javier.
I would have been Caitlyn in every Brett interaction. Like, okay, wrap it up. Like, come on. I don't know. That's just me. I don't like that type of player. But.
Guy's a menace, man. Oh, okay. So, um, actually, there's a forgotten person in every season. I would say this forgotten person is Sam. Sam was there. She had an interesting journey. She was the robot for the first week. She had a very interesting HOH, I would like to say, putting up girls because they were manipulating the guys in the house. And then Sam was the Tyler backer for the rest of the season. But you kind of see Sam slowly kind of lose her mind this season, and it went all over the place. Is there? We don't have to spend too much time here, but is there a general consensus about Sam? Like, do we need to see Sam again, or are we just like off Sam? Like, how do we feel about her?
Honestly, I don't know how she got there in the first place. I'm gonna be completely honest. Just because she also fell off the. I don't know if she fell off the face of the earth. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. I haven't heard from her at all. But I feel like they thought they were getting like a Donnie or something out of her. It could not be further from the truth. I was rooting for her honestly up until her HOH. I did not appreciate her speech. Like, a lot of people can say things about Caitlyn and like maybe Haley, I don't know. But that's one thing I just can't really move past from. And it left a bad taste in my mouth because she was so like, she wasn't trying to make good TV like a Brett, she wasn't trying to play up to the cameras. She was being sincere, which made it worse for me. Yeah. And to see her go up, I think it was the very same day in the HOH room right after she did that, just like hugging Fessy and like rubbing his back, or he was like, it's like, girl, what's the difference? It's only okay for you to do it. Okay, cute. I hate that stuff.
I mean, I think Lovina put it perfectly. That's what I didn't like Sam at all. I feel like a lot of people did like Sam. I remember like on Twitter there would always be a lot of chatter about Sam just because she was so like removed from the game. Like she would just say, wasn't she the one who said she like punch a mud hole through someone's chest? Like,
yeah,
Sam would just say things that people would be like, Sam is wild, and they wanted to see more Sam. But yeah, I really didn't like Sam, especially after that comment. And then when you go do like Lovina said, she would just go do the same. She was like cuddling with Tyler. She was, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, girl, a little bit of self-awareness here. So I was not a big Sam fan. I do think the robot was like an insane like way to spend the first week. That was kind of crazy. Just in terms of like the game, like whoever would have happened to, I think would have been a really interesting twist. But yeah, I was not a big Sam fan.
Yeah, she had a first good 2 weeks. I think she was the first person that family got shown, and then after that, it was just downhill.
It's crazy because going in, you want to talk about Winston being preseason phase. I think everyone thought that Sam was going to be like the next Big Brother legend. Like everyone was like, "Oh, she's a super fan." I mean, I don't know if anyone really expected the accent and everything, but like she had a lot of backing going in. If you look at people's like old drafts and everything, so it's she was also a missed opportunity. This is, I'm not going to have a bunch of other clips for this. So this is one of the last few I have. But I do remember this confessional to this day, and I just had to play it for Sam.
If this is all a lie, and at the end of it, I'm standing there looking like a dumbass, I will tear every door off its hinges on my way out of this mother, and I will absolutely rip these bitches to shreds. I mean, lose my mind. And I swear on everything that's holy, they will regret it.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. But yeah, that's Sam's legacy for you. I do not have any other clips. You guys don't have to keep worried about that. But that's Sam. Okay. So I guess we can talk about the Final Four. I think they took up a majority of this season, and for good or bad, they all played in some people's minds like the best games this season, right? I mean, Lovina had a lot to say about Angela. I know Javier did as well. So I mean, I've already spoken about the Ice Queen, self-proclaimed at least. But what's the vibe on Angela? I know that she's gotten on the challenge. Did not expect that, but that happened. I know she got a cookbook. How do we feel about Angela?
I mean, I'll just wrap up what I was saying. Like, I think there are some people that, and I say all people, not just women, that fantasize about having, like I said, a Regina George moment. And I think that, you can do that. You can be, cutthroat and you can be a certain way without being so directly mean. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm a big Allison Irwin fan. I'm a big June Song fan. Who else? I'm a big Janelle fan. There is a level of like, okay, you can see how they're a little catty, but they don't do it in a way that's just so. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. There's just a certain way that she delivers everything, that she was just trying to portray like a Regina George character. And I don't like that it was just directed towards women. Like, it was really weird. And people can say like, Nicole Franzel and stuff. There's a lot of talk about that kind of topic right now. I don't really keep up with Survivor personally, but I have been seeing a lot of stuff about, women working against women. I don't really know anything, but yeah, I think that as long as you're able to balance it out or like explain it and own your shit as to how this could help your game, I'm rooting for you. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm not explaining myself well. I just don't like people that are like, I want to be like Regina George. No, it's a movie that's not real. Like, you're 29. Stop.
Listen, you're fine. You don't like the Mean Girls. You get it.
Oh no, I stand the Mean Girls. Please.
Lovina. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You got it, Javier.
No, I don't have that much to say. I'm not a big Angela fan. I feel like it's been obvious in the past 50 whatever minutes we've been talking. I didn't like her on the challenge. I feel like she only was successful on the challenge because she is a physical threat. And I mean, good for her. She can win challenges. We saw it on Big Brother. We saw it on the challenge. I commend her for that. But I don't like people who are, because she was only mean in the diary rooms. Like, if you're gonna be a villain 24/7. Like you mentioned, Janelle, call people out in the house. Tell Bailey how you feel about her. Tell Rachel how you feel about her. If you're gonna be that type of person, I like those players who do it to the people's faces. If you're gonna be mean, if you're gonna try to be cold-hearted, don't just save it when the person can't react or can't say anything. And I don't like those kind of players, so that's why I'm not a big fan of Angela. But to end it on a good note, I commend her for her physical prowess. She's a great competitor. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that, by the way. I should probably say that because I was trying to rack up. You said it better, by the way. Like, that's what I meant. Everything you said, retweet. But yeah, no, she is a strong female competitor and like one of the best that we've seen, especially in modern. So like, I definitely commend her for that. Like, she can kick those guys' asses, and I appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lastly, I did want to ask one more question about her. Did Tyler make a mistake? I mean, obviously JC was supposed to get 4th, won a competition, obviously. Did Tyler make a mistake by not choosing Casey to leave and just letting them duke it out and whoever survived? Because obviously, Tyler had his showmance with Angela. Allegedly, he wanted to take Casey to the end because they had a final 2, but I think he knew he would have an easier time against Angela, but he didn't want to hurt Casey's feelings. Did he make a mistake? Does he beat Angela if he sits next to her?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, he does.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't really like maybe that's a plus for Casey's social game or something, but I will never understand why Tyler didn't go this route. Even the whole showmance line there, it's more than enough reason to take her as well. But missed opportunity there. What are you gonna do about it?
He valued gameplay over social, and that was his fault.
There you go.
Because everybody on the jury at that point got in a fight with him at some point.
Yeah, I think he just got way too over his head at that point. From that point on, that Tyler I kind of saw like move into All Stars, which is kind of crazy. Yeah. But what are you gonna do? I do want to ask, what's the overall What's the overall consensus on JC? I don't want to spend too much time on him. You know, I'm gonna say JC as a player was very good this season. I think you know, the way he kind of like trickled with Tyler and as a strategist, really like had Fessy wrapped around his finger. Like JC played a really good game, I will say that. But as a person, is he someone I want to see again? Never again. Like the all the antics outside of the house, the antics inside of the house.
Yeah.
I'm not going to forget the ice cream scooper situation and all that. And you know, the Bailey, you know, JC, very problematic figure. I don't know why CBS brought him back to host an after show the season after. I didn't like that either, but you know, that's all in the past at this point. What's the overall thoughts on JC before we get to the final two?
I have a question, like, I'm confused about.
Okay.
Why is it that he would essentially break rules, right? Like, let's be perfectly clear. We could say this about Jackson and Big Brother 21, similar. But he would like actively break the rules and like curse out production. What's the difference between what he and, you know, Jackson did and what Shima did? I get it.
Yeah.
She threw the thing. Yes, I get it. But and she was repeatedly doing it. But and also she wasn't just doing it for nothing. She was reacting to the most over powerful the coup d'etat, like the most
Yeah.
powerful, you know, twist in Big Brother history, essentially, that really like felt rigged and ruined her game. So she wasn't doing it. I just don't get why they're not getting in trouble, or you know, JC wasn't getting in trouble for it, and essentially rewarded for it, because you just reminded me about the show that I forgot about that
Yeah.
completely. So yeah, I don't get that. The double standards are bizarre. But yeah, as far as his game goes in the house, very good strategically, and I can't really say anything more than that personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, if this isn't showing how stale the end game was, like this, like it's sick, but like that's all you can say at this point. It was just like, yeah, like this is what we're left to root for, you know. So you know, it's sick. So I guess we got our final two, Casey and Tyler. They're both seen as some of the better players in Big Brother history. To some, listen, just like I said in my last podcast, go watch the YouTube videos. I'm not going to name drop anyone,
Gosh.
but the people have them on their list. You know, obviously Tyler, it's weird. Like I feel like part one Tyler was like a completely different player, and then part two all stars, I don't even know who I'm watching anymore. Like I don't know really what happened to him, but I feel like he really let his foot off the pedal, and you know, he got really infatuated with the showman to, well, now girlfriend, if that's still together. I've heard a lot of rumors about that. I'm not going to worry about that, but you know, Tyler, all in all, even if he's not doing his best work, is still a really good player, which is really like rare to see. I just think he's naturally good at the game, and I think Casey as well. Naturally, I mean, I don't know what her, you know, her lifespan is in the challenge and all that, but at least over in Big Brother, I feel like if you put Casey in like 100 seasons, she does pretty well in almost all of them, just because of naturally, at least what we've seen on the Big Brother, how nice she is. You know, I know that her competition prowess is crazy too, even though the competitions were very physical that season, but we're going to let that go. What's the overall legacies of Casey and Tyler as players?
Tyler ran the game for about 20 episodes, I would say. He was in every HOH's ear, constantly talking to them. And the way he went about it was on a very individual basis, which was a really good approach. I think what ended up happening is about halfway through is his lies caught up to him. Now he had the protection of level 6 at that point. They had already kind of ran through it. But I think what you saw is what you're seeing, what you saw of him in All Stars, in that he realized he couldn't do that again. Either that or he didn't like what he saw of himself. One of the two. And that was ultimately his game. So that's why I can never, you can't repeat that. I can never put him as one of the best because it's very difficult to repeat that because people know what to expect at this point. And then I don't have anything to say about Casey. She's boring.
How about you, Javier?
So I think Tyler played. I do think that Tyler should have won that season. I do understand why he didn't win. I get it. People don't like to be manipulated, and they don't. I feel like if Tyler would have been more forthcoming with his manipulation, maybe he would have won at the end. Um, like his fight with Bailey was just unnecessary. He could have handled that way better. The way he took Brett out was just he became a little like almost pompous, where he was just I feel like he knew he was running the game, and that's why I think in the second half he was like, wait, if I know I'm running it, I think these people might know I'm running it again, and that's what we saw of him in BB22, where he was kind of just trying to lay low, just be like the nice guy, because he didn't want to be known as like this big manipulator. So I feel like he never could find that balance between being the nice guy who had a good social game, but also like, how to manipulate the game. And I think that's a really hard balance to have. And that's what like the great players have. They have that balance. So I do agree with Tyrone in that like he can never play that game again. And he wasn't able to in BB22. And I don't think we'll ever see Tyler again. I think BB22, he was just like too detached from reality TV. But yeah, no, I think Tyler played a great game overall, but I do understand why he lost. Just his gameplay was just, he got messy towards the end. And Casey, oh, no, you go ahead.
No, you good. Quick question. Do you think he's a nice person in actuality, or do you think what he did in the beginning in the game in BB20 is who he really is?
I think he's just a fan. Like I'm gonna be honest. If I was in the game, I would be blindsiding everyone every week too. If it's growing up on Dr. Will and Dan and stuff, I'm giving I will give him respect. He was trying to bring the OG aspect of Big Brother back, where we're like, let's blindside people, let's give crazy moments that we're not going to see anymore. Like I was used to, let's get in a big group and then we're going to just steamroll to the end. He was like, no, even if we're losing this week, if we're going to lose alliance members, we're going to make it iconic, which was why we got the Rachel. What's wrong with Angela? I mean, he's such a savage. This guy was lying to his alliance, saying he was dogging these people in his elimination exit goodbye messages. And he wasn't, but his alliance members were like, oh, if Tyler's doing it, we're going to do it, which is why we saw Angela do that crazy message. But I just don't know. I think he got in love or something, and then he just gave up because even the All-Stars, he didn't want to play in that, which is crazy because coming in, I'm pretty sure Tyler was a super fan. He watches with his family, and I don't think that he's a super fan anymore. I just don't think he cares anymore. So it's tough. I don't know.
Sorry, I mean to cut you off, Javier.
No, you're good. No, you're good. I do agree with Isaiah though. I don't think Tyler's a bad person. I think he is a nice guy. And he's a fan of the show. And he just did it. I think some people know how to balance that, and he just didn't know how to balance that act, unfortunately. But onto Casey. I mean, she was there. She was nice, I guess. She won challenges, I guess. That's why she does well on the challenge. No shade, but she's done really well on every challenge season she's been on. Because either she does well in the challenges, and everyone, similar to Angela, people are just scared to challenge. I wouldn't want to go one-on-one with Casey. You know what I'm saying? So that's why she does well on the challenge. It's why she did well on this season. And she doesn't really make waves. Even on the challenge, she still doesn't make waves. There's a Big Brother alliance on the challenge, and even in that, she's the one who usually comes out scotch-free. So I just think Casey knows how to not make big waves, and I just don't like those kind of players. But I do think Casey will always do well. Like you said, you can put Casey in any season of Big Brother, and I think she would do well just because she can win the challenges, and she's just kind of there, and she'll be nice, and she'll talk to everybody. But that's not the kind of player I like. I don't feel like she has any power in the game. I like the players who have influence, and I don't think she had any influence in the game. But good for her for winning. I think she won because of a jury who was mad at Tyler mostly. But
yeah, I think that so what's funny is when the season was airing, I started out as I liked Tyler, and then I moved to Faute, and I stuck with the Hive. And I was like, oh my God, Fessie's. I remember Phil was like, Fessie's HOH. And then it happened. And I just kept sticking. I was like, come on. And then I was like, okay, wait, hold on. I think I could pick. I was like getting frustrated with level 6. I was like, okay, well, Casey's like lesser of two evils. Like I'm kind of tired of the whole Tyler and Angela charade, especially after they pulled the whole. Well, we're 2 steps ahead thing where they both thought again. They thought
So
they ate that.
cringe.
Like,
So
come on,
cringe.
right?
Mm-mm.
So I was like, Casey, and then when the votes were read, I was like, oh, I actually hate this. Wait a second. I'm not happy. No, like seriously, I was like very unhappy because I think that that season for me personally marked the the moment I realized that Big Brother was like over. If you get what I'm saying. I was like, okay, well, to win you have to win competitions and be nice. And I think that being nice does not translate to a social game. My faith has been restored in our last season with Taylor winning with an extremely strong social game. But that doesn't mean that, oh, well, she was just kind of nice and like she was just kind of there. No, I'm like, I don't want to disrespect Casey's win because she busted her ass, and she won those competitions. She set records. But I do think that, when people look at Casey, they kind of see her as more of the competitive, but they would also say, well, she was nice to people on the side. Great, but that's still not a social game for me. So it kind of set Big Brother off to be like, well, the real Big Brother, where it's a social and strategic game, is kind of dead at this point. And it continued with Jackson, with Cody, with you can say Misha Tate too, like same thing. And so it really set me up to be discouraged for the longest time. I think that's what it represents, and I don't want to put that all onto Casey, but unfortunately, she just represents it well. And I think that Tyler's answers during the jury questioning were not good either. And I do think that, we all felt a lot of ways about Paul in Big Brother 19, but like objectively, he probably should have won. But he lost the game, I would say, because of his jury questioning was way worse than Tyler's. Tyler's was he just felt very checked out, like you guys have all hit on. By the end of it, and I think that's what led to him not having good jury questions, and he wasn't representing, again, I say this all the freaking time, he wasn't owning his shit well. He wasn't. And I think that if he did that, he could have gotten, maybe that really important Bailey vote that he said that he didn't need. Maybe he could have swung her and she would have been like, you know what, I respect that. But he didn't. He didn't do a good job of that during any of his speeches or any of his questions or answers. So yeah, that was kind of like a jumbled thought process, but let's just say I'm glad that Big Brother 24 happened, because I feel like it's setting us up better. If we can see the patterns of a competitive person, like a competition wins overall game equals overall game win, like we've been set up from Big Brother 20 to like 20, yeah, Xavier as well, to 23, then hopefully Taylor can set us up for a social slash strategic show again.
Shoot, I would say, because I separate Big Brother in 4 eras. I would mark 21 through 16 as like era 3, where you're just
Yes.
seeing like big groups form and then just steamroll to the end. And it's crazy if you look at it. We go from we get a Casey win, and then we get a Jackson win, and then we get a Cody win, and then we get an X win. It's like 4 winners who are like the same archetype. So it's interesting that you say that. But Ty, were you about to say something?
I was just saying it's a great point, and I think reality TV as a whole is in a own your shit at the final, whatever it is, whether it's a tribal council or whatever the situation is, but own your shit and people will respect you for it. I think that's where we are at right now in reality TV. And people just need to pay attention.
Yeah, because I also think that people are starting to get sick of it, even like the contestants that go on, just as Taylor so eloquently said in her speech. I would have just been like, you guys like fucking vote for the same person every time. No, but like Taylor so eloquently pointed out that we can have the same winners that we've been having year after year after year, but let's change things up and go back to our roots, kind of, I guess you could say.
Yep.
All right. So, I mean, that's basically everyone. We could just start doing our final closing topics. So first of all, how do we? I mean, we kind of already touched this a little bit, but yeah, I don't even need. We basically said who we want to see. Yeah, I'm not going to go through that again. Legacy overall. Now that it's all said and done. Um, what has Big Brother 20 done for the landscape of Big Brother? Obviously, we kind of spoke about the whole Taylor speech a little bit, but has it done anything crazy enough where like it changed the game in your guys' opinions, or did it stay the status quo?
For the time, like I said, it stayed this, because I agree with you, Isaiah, the 16 through 22, 23-ish. I don't know about
Mm,
23, but 22 for sure. That era of like steamrolling, competition wins, done. I think that it just stayed how it was. I do think that starting from this season, hopefully it has changed, but we'll see.
hope so. I also wanted to see where do we rank this? I mean, Lovina, we kind of did a ranking about this a while back, and I kind of want to redo it. Where do we put Big Brother 20 on in terms of all the seasons? Is it in like the upper top tier? Is it in the middle, or is it like low? Because if I'm judging off the first half, originally I was gonna put it top, but like I don't know if I do that anymore. Like the second half really slowed things down. So I mean, how do we feel about it? Where do you guys rank Big Brother 20, top, middle, or like bottom?
I'm gonna go middle. I'll go middle.
Okay.
I agree with middle. I think, yeah, I think of like the modern seasons, it would be like in the top of the modern seasons, but compared to like pre BB16, it would be like more towards the middle. So I think middle is a good place to place it at.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with middle. I think, when you look at a reason why you would rank a season, it would be, legacy, entertainment value, strategic, all these great things. I do think that, it still overall had a good entertainment value. So I would say like upper middle.
Okay. All right. And look, that's it. We basically just broke down 20. Like I said, it's interesting how we had a lot to say at the first half, and just like the regular season, not that much at the second half. I think that's a perfect capitalization of what Big Brother 20 is. It's interesting, but all right, everyone, thank you so much for listening. And if you enjoy what you like, please stay and hang out for next week, where we're going to talk about Big Brother 19. Obviously, that's going to be something. But please check out the Silent Podcast on all social media platforms, streaming platforms, all that fun stuff. And if you enjoy this, please subscribe. And listen, if you want to give our audio platforms on Apple Podcast and Spotify 5 stars, that was beautiful, but only 5. If it's 4, do not rank, because you're going to mess me up. But I'm going to just start doing our final plugs. Lovina, thank you so much once again for coming. I'm sure I'm going to see you plenty more over here. What's going on? Where can people find you?
Just like on the screen, LPABs with 2 S's. Currently just on Twitter. Kind of a hiatus from, what's the other social? Just Instagram, I guess. I don't know. Social media is a mess, you guys.
All right. Ty, where can people find you?
At tgram0711 on Twitter, hashtag to Xanarkin, hashtag the unknown, and follow at OTH_pod. That is, I am new member of OTH, so please listen to us. And speaking of Big Brother, my first 2 interviews as a part of OTH was Taylor and Chada. So listen to. I appreciate you all having me, and peace.
I'm sure you'll be over here more too. Thanks so much for coming. And then Javier, as usual, where can people find you?
So yeah, you can find me at _the Starboy. I'll be there tweeting about all the shows that I love, including Big Brother, even though it can be messy at times. But no, it was great to be on to talk about one of my favorite shows.
All right. So, as usual, you'll see us next Sunday or Monday, once I get that figured out, talking about Big Brother 19. Listen, once I get past these newer seasons, I'm gonna be good. I just gotta get through. But until next time, see you next week. Bye.